Good afternoon, everybody. Uneducated economist here. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about the housing market. A lot of you guys like to follow me because I'm in the building supply industry, and I track half-inch CDX and 2x4s as kind of an indicator of where we are in the new construction market. Half-inch CDX and 2x4s are like the two main base components inside of building a new building or putting together a new building. The 2x4s being like the skeleton, and the half-inch CDX is like the skin that goes on the outside of the building before all the doors, windows, siding, stuff like that goes in. So those two components are pretty common throughout, pretty much all stick-built framing, half-inch CDX and 2x4s. Now, half-inch CDX, a couple of years ago, I noticed the price had reached its all-time high of $26.50 a sheet. Okay. Now, to kind of put that in comparison, typically half-inch CDX would sell somewhere around $18 to $22 a sheet. And during the, let's see, I guess it was probably like early 2017 into like the summer of 2017 that the prices had gotten up to around $26.50. I even did a video on it. I can even go back and find the date on that video, and that'll let you know when that exactly took place. Because I remember the day it happened, I was like, "Holy moly, this is incredible! I've never seen the half-inch CDX sell for so much." Today, I came in, I fired up the computer, went to go sell a sheet of half-inch CDX. It's all the way down to $15.69. Holy moly, guys! I have never seen CDX selling for as little as $15.69 a sheet. I think the last time I saw $15 CDX was back in the late 90s after I had just graduated high school. I was like probably in my early 20s then, and it was the late 90s. We had kind of a slowdown recession taking place then, and I think right then I saw CDX selling for around $15 a sheet. But that was a long time ago, and never have I seen $15 CDX in the last, 15 years. So this is incredibly low for half-inch CDX. And remember, this is a main component for new construction. So we take it back a couple of years ago when the prices had got up to $26.50. Mills all over the place were just pumping out a lot of plywood. Okay, they were pushing it out. Lumber futures were at $650 per thousand at the time. Today, lumber prices are at $420 per thousand, over a 200 per thousand percent, or 200 per thousand drop in price. That's huge. That is a huge price drop. When this happened, mills all over the place, and especially up in the British Columbia area, up in Canada, started announcing curtailments. They were going to start tightening up supply to try and get the lumber prices back up. And it didn't work. And lumber mills started shutting down. Now, here in the United States, it wasn't alone. There was plywood mills and OSB mills announcing curtailments here in the United States, saying that the oversupply of plywood was causing an inventory buildup. And so they had to start cutting curtailments. They started announcing curtailments as far as production of the plywood goes. So you would think if there was a curtailment on plywood, inventory drops, prices go up. But it hasn't happened. Those announcements took place 3, 4, 5 months ago. And today we have CDX prices selling for the lowest that I have seen in recent history. A lot of people will say, yeah, but there's plenty of building going on in my area, and the building permits, there's more building permits being issued right now than any time in recent history. Let me show you that chart. So I printed this up. This is the Federal Reserve chart of new private housing units authorized by building permits. Okay, so this is new housing. And you can see right here, this is where we're at. We had a nice little spike in building permits. But look at it compared to the last history. I think this goes back to what, 1950? 1960? Think about it. Look how many times building permits were being issued at a higher pace, or at more building permits being issued at the time than we are now. Okay? So we're like average. We're like average amount of building permits being issued. And the price of the two main components of the building industry are coming down. even after the mills have announced curtailments. I don't know what everybody else sees out there, but I have my firsthand view of this. Okay? I know 2 years ago, my phone would ring off the hook looking for contractors. Do you know anybody who can do any work? Do you know anybody who can frame? Do you know anybody who can side, roof? Do you know any painters? I had it constantly. Every day I had people calling me looking for people in the trade. I haven't had one of those phone calls in weeks, months. And in fact, I was talking to a few guys here, and this is typical, so it's not like it's, some big new information or anything. Typically during the wintertime, you get less phone calls. But I'm talking to a few guys who said that they were getting phone calls all through the last 2 winters, but not this winter. This is the first time that weeks have gone by where they didn't get a phone call looking for them to do a bid on a project or something like that. Things are happening right now, guys. Okay? Things are happening in the industry that they're not going to tell you on the mainstream news. Follow half-inch CDX and 2x4s. Watch the prices on those. Watch these mills. Okay? If they start announcing even more curtailments, you're going to know that that inventory is tightening up, and if the price keeps dropping, the demand is just not there. All right. Uneducated economist. You guys let me know.